welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video, there is a link to get £50 back for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Bible Literalist, Arwin, 10th Man, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Good afternoon.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How's the weather over there? Is it just as bright as it is here again?
Lovely, no snow on the ground, sun is out, birds are tweeting, getting ever closer to the real new year we call spring.
Oh, the snow has all melted where you're at?
Pretty much.
Oh, it's still fully snowed up over here. It even snowed a little last night. Again.
The way you want to start a live show like this? Tickle the grounds with a bit of frivolity and weather talk. Very British of you, Arwin.
Hey, if you're going to talk every day, then why not talk about the weather every day?
Why not? Why not? And why not wait till the live stream just begins? Because it's the most appropriate moment. I'm being serious, actually. Small talk is good.
It's actually the only time we're going to prove any kind of drift with the snow.
Boom, boom. Drift. Very good. Speaking of drift,
why it's solid. It would be susceptible to momentum, so it would definitely drift with the spin of the Earth at all times.
Excellent. Perfect segue. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Yeah, I come to the conclusion that ballers absolutely hate spinning balls. They hate them. The real ones, that is. Not the ones in their mind, but the real ones.
Why is that?
Well, because actual spinning balls, we also know them as gyroscopes, physical gyroscopes, they totally disprove that the Earth is spinning, because if the Earth were a spinning ball and a gyroscope was on that spinning ball, you can even demonstrate this on a small scale in your own living room with an actual ball, sticking the gyroscope to it, then, yeah, the gyroscope would turn 360 degrees over the course of the spinning of the ball Earth, because the axis of rotation of a gyroscope, by its very nature, stays absolutely rigid within Euclidean space. So as the Earth would be turning underneath the gyroscope, the axis of rotation of that gyroscope would stay exactly as is. Kind of like a Coriolis deviation.
It is Coriolis deviation.
Oh, it is. Okay. Right. So, yeah, that's why actual ball zealots hate real life spinning balls. Isn't that ironic?
Yes, because if the Earth was a turning sphere, then we would observe 15 degrees an hour deviation, in this example, in the gyroscope. So as the Earth turned underneath, the fixed frame of the gyroscope, which will not deviate in the inertial reference frame, would appear to drift at 15 degrees an hour because it's claimed the ground it's attached to is drifting beneath it. So the gyro spins in a fixed reference frame and does not move. But if the cage moves, then you'd see it appear to drift. Absolutely correct, Darwin. However, we do not see this effect. And it's also claimed, this is the most interesting part, this is where the exciting bit begins for us flat earthers. It's claimed that a flat earther, Bob Nodell, although it's not even his gyroscope, has observed 15 degrees an hour in a gyroscopic motion. So it's claimed by the Globers that that gyroscopic motion proves the Earth turned under the gyroscope. We're observing Coriolis deviation at 15 degrees an hour. Thanks, Bob, for showing that we've got 15 degrees an hour is what they cry. So therefore, they're claiming we have got Coriolis effect. Therefore, as declared by Neil deGrasse Tyson to back this claim that is supposedly proved by Bob Nodell, we would have things like balls leaving Earth's turning reference frame and seeming to drift through goalposts. Or snipers having to worry about their ammunition leaving the barrel of their gun and then Earth turning beneath the bullet. Now that would be Coriolis deviation. You observing things seem to drift because it's claimed Earth turns underneath gyroscopes, right? Well, that would mean that they also have Earth turning underneath hot air balloons, gyroscopes, all of them, not just fibre optic, helicopters, aeroplanes, anything that leaves their claim to be turning Earth. And we do not observe that effect. Not only do we not observe it in mechanical gyros, claimed to be proven to happen in optical gyros, we don't observe it in anything that leaves the claim to be spinning reference frame. In other words, nothing's actually drifting. If it was, you'd launch a drone, and Earth would turn underneath it at 1,000 miles an hour on the equator. In other words, your drone would drift away from you at 1,000 miles an hour. Moreover, a flight travelling west would have its flight time reduced. A flight from Charlotte, North Carolina, for example, to Los Angeles, which takes 4.5 hours in reality, would only take an hour and a half if we were observing the plane seem to drift because we were turning underneath it. Because that would mean we were turning underneath it, as is claimed to be the case. But we don't have an hour and a half flight time from Charlotte to LA. It's 4.5 hours because the Earth isn't turning underneath anything.
Yeah, in chat yesterday when you re-upped your show, I got into it with a few people over that. First, they say that the Earth and the atmosphere is moving together. Then they focus on the projectile-powered flight. They're all convoluted. They don't know what they're talking about.
From partial drift to selective drift to no drift at all ever claimed.
Yeah. Pure cognitive dissonance is now the summary for what was Coriolis convolution. We have globiolis, a non-Coriolis effect that's claimed by the globe side, which details what happens to the projectile, when in reality the projectile's not having an effect that it's actually experiencing being detailed in Coriolis. It's you turning underneath things and them seeming to drift. That means that their path is unaffected by the observation of Coriolis, which is you turning underneath. So because that effect doesn't happen on Earth, they make the example about the projectile, and what it's doing and what it's accounting for and how it's not experiencing drift, when in reality they claim we have it and we don't. There is no drift. Nothing's turning underneath anything at 15 degrees an hour. Earth is not spinning. Shout out to Dank for joining as a channel member.
So when they say that Bob Nodell proved that the Earth is spinning with the gyro, then they're arguing against drift, right?
No, they're claiming that there is drift when they say Bob Nodell proved 15 degrees an hour drift. Thanks, Bob. 15 degrees an hour is what they say, which is an abbreviated version of what they're actually claiming. 15 degrees an hour Coriolis effect. That would be not actual deflection observed as you turn underneath. That's what they claim Earth has. Earth turning underneath things to make them seem like they drift. Well, by convoluting it into the projectile, they can distract from the fact and justify why we don't have that effect. Wow, loads of people have just joined as a channel member. Shout out to David Reed, who's joined as a channel member. Shout out to Pete Harland, who's joined as a channel member. The one day I put the public chant up. Get loads of channel members. That's normally not the case, but there we go. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining as channel members. Any more on drift that we don't see?
I have a question, by the way. Sorry. I have a little question about supposed Bob proving the Earth spinning with this ring laser gyro. When they did that gyro thing, did they take all the gyroscopes? Like, did they have like 3 different types of gyroscope right next to one another, and then did all the tests with that all simultaneously, and then it turned out the ring laser gyro turned?
An interesting question.
Not the other ones?
You can compare various people who've done it with mechanical gyros, not side by side. I don't think they did it simultaneously with other people's different methods of gyro. They just
it would be extremely
Hold on, Alwyn,
interesting.
I'm answering. They just used a fibre optic gyroscope. That's all they used as far as I'm aware. However, you're missing the point, because if their claim that Bob proved Earth turns underneath the fixed frame of the gyro at 15 degrees an hour, then Earth turns underneath an inertial reference frame at 15 degrees an hour, so Earth's turning underneath then. So we'd have drift in everything that leaves that reference frame, like bullets and balls, as is claimed by the globe. So you just use their claim that Bob proved we have drift against them. Okay, so you're affirming we have things drifting then. Earth turning underneath is what causes that in Coriolis effect, and they absolutely claim Coriolis effect. It's merely an affirmation of what they claim. But it's just useful because they usually deny that it happens when we say, well, that would shorten flight times. Or that would mean a drone drifts away from you 1,000 miles an hour as you turn underneath it. It's not actually drifting, it's just you turning away from it on a turning Earth, according to your claim. Well, no, let's get into the wrangle-dangle of what the projectile does for half an hour, when Coriolis is observed only as you turn underneath stuff.
So when
This is-
Earth and atmosphere move together, then they're arguing against drift, correct?
Yes. When they say Earth and atmosphere move as one, a violation of the first law of thermodynamics when detailing projectiles that are acquiring extra energy to keep up with the rotational velocity as their radius value increases as they gain a height. Yeah, when they say that and violate the first law of thermodynamics, they're also arguing that there's no drift. The two things move together. Oh, right. So how do we see that there's a rotating Earth then? Because the drift as they drift apart is what you're claiming with Coriolis proves we spin. If you say they move together, something that, number one, can't happen, and number two, defies their claim of drift. Yes, Neil.
Come on, Nathan. We know the Earth is rotating, but we wouldn't expect to see it or measure it.
Have some Canadian shillings, says Godzilla 37. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Really appreciate any shillings. Thank you. Come on, we what? Globe 10th.
No, I said they claim the Earth is rotating at 15 degrees, but we wouldn't expect to see it. In fact, we've never experienced it, but we know it's happening.
Right. So saying we wouldn't expect to see drift, which is what they say when Earth and atmosphere are claimed to move together, begging the question that they're moving but having no effect to show it. Well, when they do that, you are defying the claim that we have drift. So we must see it at 15 degrees an hour. We're claimed to see it at 15 degrees an hour. It's claimed Bob showed it at 15 degrees an hour. That means Earth's turning underneath stuff that's not attached, like gyroscopes and helicopters and hot air balloons and aeroplanes and footballs and snipers' bullets. More shillings
Right.
from Del West Watson. Wow, I'm doing really well. I'm so glad because I'm so poor. I wouldn't normally say it, but it's true. Thank you very much for the support, Del West Watson. He says more shillings.
So to get back to the original offset of my point, why I asked why didn't they put all the different types of gyroscopes in one room and in one shot take a view of it? Because if they'd done that, well, then maybe the ring laser gyroscope having this drift might be just an indication that there is an anomaly other than Earth turning, presumed to be, that is happening to that device. That, yeah, just to point it out, because
That's
if it
interesting,
were
other
turning
than-
because the Earth were spinning, then the other two gyroscopes would have to do the same thing in the exact same way.
Why would it?
And
You're asking
to
me
have
to
it all in one
explain.
shot would be
You're asking me
very
to
Darwin,
explain a
Darwin,
non-naturally
do you-
occurring phenomena. This isn't a natural phenomena, right? You're saying, why does this
Nathan.
man-made device do this? Who cares?
anomaly. I said anomaly, not
Anomaly with a
phenomenon.
man-made device, a fog, a
Nathan.
fiber optic gyro. So what?
Hey, Arwen, if you put them all in the room and they want to see spinning, they're going to need more than one shot.
Nathan, hello. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, we hear you.
I want to know why exactly you're saying natural observed phenomena. I agree that you can use it, but you can also use a problem. I have 4 different sources and many more which say so.
Sorry, what is the naturally occurring
We
phenomena
don't.
that we're studying?
Mental gymnastics.
For example, here, one of my sources is from the university in Munich. And it says, one second, I'm going to read something out from.
What department?
Geophysics, Munich.
Geophysics.
The scientific method.
Geophysics.
But what about the stuff that QE had
Yeah,
you read?
it's
that don't
about
count
the
no more?
scientific method.
Okay. And
And let me quote.
let's need a phenomena.
Here.
This isn't about the scientific method.
Observe an event. This is
Okay,
what
let's do that.
the first
Stop.
step in the
No worries.
scientific method
Perfect.
is.
It was
One of the
perfect.
scientific
Perfect.
method.
Perfect. Observe an event. What event are we observing? Drift is the claim. So where do we observe the event
We
of
can
drift?
observe events also in math. We can observe it everywhere.
Hello. Observe an event, right? So where do we observe?
course.
That means use our eyes. The event of drift. Where do we observe that, please?
We can also use problems.
Sorry, step
Like,
one
my
in your
point is
Munich
not
method.
what we observe,
Sorry,
but
step one.
my point.
Step one was observe an event, and you don't seem to be telling me where we observe drift. This is where we got to last time. We just got there a lot
Nathan,
quicker
because
with you
can't
citing that we need
understand
to
what's
observe an
meant with
event. Now
observe.
you're continually interrupting me for some reason. Are you scared of your own citation being read back to you? Your step one was observe an event.
No.
Now, I know what, you don't need to continually interrupt me. We've dealt with you before, and now we're doing it again. So we got to this stage last time, just much quicker this time because you've cited somebody that says the method starts by observing an event. So that's what we're going to do, because that's where we got to last time. Just going to cut out all the mumbo jumbo and interruption that you gave us and were giving us a moment ago. So where do we observe the event of... No. Please don't constantly interrupt when I just simply asked the question you obfuscated. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was in excess of 60 times when you were here last. 60 times, I believe, you interrupted this. So just once, I want you to hear me say it clearly and then respond with, I don't see drift. So where do we observe the naturally occurring phenomena, that would be an event that we observe, of drift? Where do we observe that?
We're talking about the scientific method, not about drift right now. And I want to
Sorry,
say
your scientific method that you just detailed had step one, observe event. So where do we observe this event?
it does not mean in nature. You don't have to observe something in nature to make a scientific experiment. That's wrong.
Really, natural science is only interested in the physical and natural world. That's what natural science is interested in. And that's what we're interested in. If you're talking about a different kind of science that isn't interested in the physical and natural world, you're in the wrong place. If you're interested in talking about a mathematics problem, then go to a maths forum. We here are interested in the physical and natural...
Science.
Shut up!
Science.
Stop interrupting me, you fundy coward. I'll say it again. We are interested in the physical and natural world. That's physics. You might be interested in maths. Piss off to a maths forum if you want a maths problem. If you're saying science is interested in maths, wrong. We're interested in physics, physical and natural world. Now, if the physical and natural world has an event to observe, you can tell us about it. Now, the reality is there is no drift to observe. There's claimed to be observations of it in bullets and footballs. But then when we point out that that would also affect aeroplanes and hot air balloons, we get told that we can solve it as a maths problem, and it doesn't matter about whether it occurs in nature as an event. It doesn't. There's no drift happening in nature. There's no 15 degrees an hour as Earth turns underneath anything. Otherwise, you'd just show me it happening. You can't, so you take it to a maths problem. Take it to a maths forum.
First of all, I can do it in an experiment. But first of all, my claim is here. It's not my claim. I have proof for this. A second source says science does not investigate the supernatural or study morality or religion. And it does not...
I don't give a crap. It's interested in physics. So don't tell me what science doesn't do. I don't care. What it does do is establish the cause of phenomena and its physical and natural world that we're interested in. Not maths, not computers, not problems with fog gyros. None of that is interesting to me. Only nature. I'm interested in the real world.
Can I get a citation that you need to observe something in the real world?
What, for it to occur in nature and for be something I'm interested in nature? Oh, I don't need a citation for that. I'm telling you. That is all I am interested in. I'm a realist. I'm interested in reality. Stuff that happens in physical nature. Physical reality. If you're interested in stuff that happens in the abstract world of maths, go to a maths forum. Flat earthers, on the other hand, baseless generalization. Excuse the baseless generalization. Flat earthers are interested in the physical and natural world, and that's all I'm going to be interested in this example. It's claimed in our physical and natural world we have drift. You're saying, according to your citation, the first thing you need to do is observe an occurrence. I said that was a phenomena. We've defined that last time you were here. If you haven't got one, I'm not interested because it doesn't happen.
Nathan, first of all, I don't need a natural observed phenomena to make...
Well, then you go away. We're only interested in natural phenomena. If it's not happening in nature, then I don't care. And I'm going to speak for every flat earther. If this stuff doesn't happen in nature, tell them to sod off. I don't care. It doesn't happen in reality. You might not be interested in the physical and natural world, but that's exclusively what we are interested in as flat earthers, because we're realists. You, with your abstract maths, you're not realists.
Nathan. So, Nathan, first of all, my third source says step 1 of the scientific method is formulate research question / problem. The most important step in research often comes from the thought, what we have now is not quite right, good enough, we can do better. The research question defines the area of interest, but it's not in declarative statements like a hypothesis. So, my third source, I have three sources which are saying I can use a problem. I don't need a natural observed phenomena. Now, please, what?
Take it to a maths forum. I keep saying, take it to a maths forum.
It's science.
Yeah, we don't give a shit.
You're not
We're
hearing
talking
me.
about science right now.
You don't want science. I know, because you're all science deniers on the globe side.
Nathan, I have shown you a quote about science, the scientific method.
That's
the scientific
fascinating.
method is also science.
Oh, really? And you're about to present a maths
disagree
problem.
with me?
Yeah, well, okay. All I'm interested in is whether or not you can show me the phenomena the globe claims, in this case Coriolis, happening in nature. That's all I'm interested in. I don't care about your citations, about what science is, because that's not what we're arguing about. We're arguing about whether or not this happens in nature, not what science is.
Okay. Nathan, do you agree with me that I have an observation? I don't need to make it in nature.
I don't
Do
know,
you
tell me
agree
what
that
it is.
I have an observation.
I don't have to make it in nature. You've got an observation that's seeing things, but you don't have to observe it in nature. I don't give a shit then. It doesn't apply to nature.
Oh.
I don't care. Are you not hearing me on FM? Do you need to twiddle your dial a little bit? If it's not occurring in nature, that would be drift. Earth turning underneath stuff to cause Coriolis effect. If it's not happening in nature, I don't care.
Nathan, I have shown you 4 different sources which say...
About science that we're not
gosh.
discussing. We're discussing whether we see drift in nature. That is the topic for discussion. Do we have Earth-based Coriolis effect? That's us observing things drift from a non-inertial spinning reference frame, or not? If we do, we'll see it in nature. And you're saying it's not about whether or not we see it in nature. Yeah, absolutely is for us. It's not for you, though, because you're a globe believer.
Yeah, we're not interested in
Nathan,
mathematical
we are
sophistry.
stuck at the
Thank you
observation
very
part.
much.
And
The
you're not...
observation of what? You haven't got an observation. Nothing's drifting. You haven't taken me to an observation of anything. You're going to give me a maths problem and describe it happening maybe on a sphere that you rotate. Yeah, maybe you'll demonstrate it with something that's not nature, not Earth spinning. I don't care about those examples. In nature, do we see drift? No, we do not. So you're going to say it's not about nature anymore? Well, that doesn't bother me in the slightest. Take it to a maths forum with your maths problem about what happens on spinning spheres, because Earth isn't one of them, or would see that effect in nature, and we don't.
He sees it in the
4 sources
calculation
say
on the
otherwise.
chalkboard.
4
That's
sources
it.
disagree with you, and many more also do.
Oh, really? So those sources can show us it happening in nature?
No, those...
So it doesn't happen in nature. So the sources that claim we've got a Coriolis effect on Earth cannot show us it in nature. That's very interesting. Welcome to stationary Earth. They can't show you this happening in nature, my friend.
Nathan, you're just intellectually dishonest at the moment.
Oh, it's intellectually dishonest to ask my opponent if their examples that claim Earth spins with Coriolis effect happen in nature, and you tell me no, and I point out that you're saying that no, it doesn't happen in nature, makes me intellectually dishonest, does it?
Nathan, what?
It just doesn't happen in nature. So suck my balls and smell the salt. Because it doesn't happen in nature, you've just told me that. So drift, Coriolis effect, the thing you're claiming, doesn't happen in nature. How intellectually dishonest of me to point out what you've just stated clearly.
Disagree with you. So who's in
You're
the right here?
mathematically
You who's
possessed.
screaming at me, or me who has given you evidence for my claim?
Evidence? Show me it happening in nature, that's evidence.
No, Nathan, we're talking about...
No! So, for you, the audience member, all I'm asking is to show Coriolis. It's claimed we've got it. It's definitely claimed to be a globe effect. I asked to see it in nature and I'm told no. Very intellectually dishonest of you to claim we have this effect and not show it happening.
You're intellectually dishonest. I want...
No, you're intellectually dishonest because you're claiming we've got Coriolis effect and you're refusing to show it happening in nature. Very intellectually dishonest. You think it's happening in nature, can't show it's happening in nature. When I demand for you to show it in nature, you say no and accuse me of intellectual dishonesty. Intellectually, you think this happens. but yet when I ask to show it, you say no. That's intellectually dishonest. You're also projecting your intellectual dishonesty onto me, the righteous and ferocious flat earther, ripping you a new one by simply asking you to show us it happening, and you say no!
Nathan, a quick summary on what just happened.
You got teabagged. You got a flat earther's balls in your face, metaphorically, like in a video game when they shoot someone in the face, and then jump up and down on their dead corpse. That's what I just did to you, by simply asking you to show me Coriolis affecting nature, actually happening in reality, and your answer to me was no. That's a concise summary of what just happened. You got teabagged, I annihilated the claim that globe turns, and it's proven with Coriolis, because all I have to do is ask a fundy zealot like yourself to show me it bloody happening, and you tell me no!
Not a single thing. So have fun in your intellectual dishonest echo chamber.
Oh, what? Intellectually dishonest to ask you to show me drift and you say no? How is that intellectually dishonest? You're projecting your own intellectual dishonesty as you claim we have drift on Earth. And then when I say show me drift on Earth, you say I don't have to show it in nature. That's showing it happen on Earth. And then when I point that out and ask you to show it, you say no. I'm not going to show it. I can't show it. I don't need to show it. And then just claim dishonesty on my part. What an outrage. Enjoy the aftertaste, you fundy zealot. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curvature?
Nonsense.
Hell no.
Gyroscopes have a spherical horizon, though.
Formerly known as Earth
if I was a
curvature.
baller,
Earth curve.
if I was a
Talking about the horizon,
if I was
Earth
a-
curve.
yeah, if I was a baller, I'd say I could show it to you in a calculation.
Yeah, they've got two.
It's
on screen now.
impossible
They've
because
got a
the
geometric
horizon is
horizon that they
always
think makes up the
apparent.
horizon. Oh, getting fundies. Go on, whoever it was in Discord.
I was just saying that the horizon is always apparent, so it can never be relied on for any sort of measurement at all.
Exactly. On screen now, we've got the black swan with what they claim, although it's slightly exaggerated because in reality, where they claim the physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, is situated, would be off screen, wouldn't be even in the frame of this picture. So they've got a non-visible, only in existence in the maths horizon, which they call geometric, when in reality the horizon that we see is in no way a physical geometric sphere edge capable of obstructing anything. It's an apparent location where the sky and ground appear to meet.
Yeah, if the Earth were a sphere, then the horizon would be a sphere edge.
Exactly.
The horizon turns out not to be a sphere edge, thanks to black swan observation. Thus, the horizon is not geometric.
Correct. And it's required to be. They claim it's blocking stuff with its physical geometry. And they give us a feet and inches value for how much its physical geometries block stuff. Only to they tell us that we wouldn't expect to see a geometric horizon. The geometric horizon only exists in the maths. Or, to add insult to injury, someone like Tim Osman will come along and say no one's claiming the horizon's Earth curve, even though it's very specifically their claim. Cognitive dissonance.
And I'm sensing a pattern. Sam Rye wanted to give us math for his problem. The horizon only exists in the math. I'm sensing a pattern here. No cowbell.
Correct. Earth turn only exists in math. Sphere edge horizons for boats to go over only exists in maths. Atmosphere only exists in maths. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container for the gas to press upon?
Wait. Time out.
Really
Yeah, I was
nonsense.
gonna jump in too.
Go on, Eli.
He literally said that we don't have to observe it in reality. Then what are we talking about?
Talking about his
he
heliocentric
say that?
fundamentalist religion.
Man,
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He really literally said we don't have to observe it in reality, Nathan. We
I
can
said we
observe
also,
it in a
we can
problem.
also use
I
a
just got
problem.
here. I didn't hear that
Yes,
nonsense.
Force us to
exactly.
agree with me.
in math.
Science agrees with me, and it says that science is.
Science doesn't do anything. It's a
Science
method.
don't
It
have
doesn't
a
agree with
voice.
you. It hasn't got bloody lips. Do you think science is roaming around agreeing with you, you stupid idiot? You think science has got lips to agree with you?
Agrees with your claim.
That's a reification fallacy. Sit down and shut up and listen. Science hasn't got any lips to agree with you. It's a method.
A method that you want to change to math.
Samurai, how do you think you're even remotely ready for this type of argument when you're going to tell us that things that your globe side claims we don't have to see in nature? What exactly is your malfunction?
I'm saying we can use a problem or an event as observation. That's all what I'm claiming.
Aren't you understanding that things that are supposed to be observed in nature should be observed in nature, not in your geometry? Do you not understand that yet?
Problem. Scientific problem.
Chant it. My maths problem, not observed in nature, is scientific. It's scientific. Chant it for me, you fundy zealot. No, it's not. It's maths. You've got a maths problem.
I'm not saying that 4 different sources saying it. One of them is the University in Munich.
Your sources can tell you all day that your maths is science, and it doesn't faze me in the slightest. Me, on the other hand, as a realist experiencing nature and wanting to know more about the world we observe, is only interested in the world we observe, and when asked if we observe it in nature, that would be drift, Coriolis effect, as we turn underneath things, as is claimed. You say, no, we don't need to observe that in nature. I can merely address a problem. And that's science, according to you. Well, that's fascinating. I call it maths, because if it's not observed in nature, it's not observed in nature.
What does he think? What does he think about the sources that QE read, and it was more than 4?
That's what I asked
sources?
That's what I said. He just threw those out.
Nature's what we're interested in, isn't it?
You know, I'm 38 years old, and I was really confused when I came into this, that there was actually no proof of physical measurements or any of this stuff that they're claiming rotation. And I looked into it, and I was absolutely baffled. And you're going to sit here and say, "Ooh, science. It's about math, right? You can find it in calculations, equations, and BS." I'm talking about reality, like all these people are. How do you believe something that you've never seen in reality, or they can't provide you and show you? Oh, but it's science. Honey, that's not science. It's called pseudoscience. I want no part of it. And I'm a 38-year-old woman, and I'm asking for that proof, that evidence that I've been asking for a year and a half. You can't provide it. You want to show me data, equations. I want to see that geometric horizon that you claim that we have that's being refracted now for this apparent one. I'm getting really sick and tired of you telling me that this horizon is physical, because you cannot find that. You cannot show that. And I want this physical measurements. I want these physical things to be presented to me in reality. And if you can't provide those, then people need to sit down and stop claiming it's evidence. It's really disgusting.
Woohoo! You tell them! I share that outrage. That's pain I can get behind. Damn right, you demand it of them. You show us this bullshit proof you've got in maths. Yeah, I'm right behind you, sister.
Thank you, Nathan. Oh, Samurai, did you just sit down and shut down now because I asked for evidence and you don't have it besides some paperwork, some peer reviews, and nothing else? Pictures?
I have evidence, but Nathan is screaming at me if I present it, saying it's wrong without evidence.
No, I'm asking you for it. And your evidence that you've even shown me and Jim Payne, a server, and all of it is absolutely ridiculous. It's all data and a bunch of nonsense. And you guys keep telling me atmosphere could contain atmosphere and all these gravity wells and all this nonsense that doesn't represent in reality. I'm asking for reality.
The problem is, if we give you evidence, you ask for the evidence of the evidence. And if we give you the evidence for the evidence, you ask for the evidence of the evidence of the evidence.
You know,
you hear yourself right now.
That stupid 35 minutes ago.
We said show us it in nature. Just show us it happening in nature. That's all we're asking. Show us it happening in nature. If it's claimed Earth has Coriolis, show us it. Show us things drifting. That's all we're asking.
If we're talking about the first part of the scientific method, which is the observation or a problem, then I don't need to show you something in nature. I just need a problem or an observation.
I see. So because it's either or, problem or observation, you can then say if it's a problem, it therefore becomes a problem for a heliocentric world I reify. No. If it doesn't happen in nature, if it's not a problem in nature, it's not something we need to concern ourselves with in nature. Now, you can concern yourself with the problem in maths, but it's not a problem in nature. That's the point.
It's science.
Science is exclusively interested in the physical and natural world. Observe natural phenomena. That would be your dependent variable in a hypothesis, and then your presumed cause. What you're doing with this little magic trick is trying to create a problem, call it science, so that you can loosely associate it with a world that you reify from maths. That's a heliocentric model of a world. And in your model of a world, you have Coriolis effect. In reality, physical, observable nature, we don't observe that effect of things drifting.
Does he
And I think,
realize
first
that
of
he'll
all,
never
the
see a
observation.
globe?
Can you answer me why 4 sources say I can use a
Because they're wrong. Your sources are
You're
wrong.
saying,
Your sources are wrong. You got to demonstrate
are
that
you
now.
sure? Because
You have to demonstrate.
QE,
You have to demonstrate the scientific method, which you didn't post yet. Number
I
one
posted
problem
4 sources
question.
which say
Now,
that I can
walk
use a
us
problem.
through it. Don't overtalk me. Walk us through it. So problem or question, which is incorrect, but we want you to walk us through it because you said,
Right.
Samurai here, problem question. A problem is a question based on observations that can be tested through experimentation. So now you gotta you gotta show us the hypothesis because the experiment is the hypothesis test. So what's the hypothesis?
The hypothesis can be whatever I want. You can't argue with that.
The hypothesis
Uh,
can't be whatever you want.
It can be. I guess
No,
I
really.
stopped
Citation,
falling to the
please.
ground because green.
Citation, please, that it could be whatever you want
Good.
and then
Okay.
demonstrate it. You realize that citations are
perfect.
merely baseless assertions, right? You now have to demonstrate them.
In the hypothesis,
You now
in the
have
hypothesis,
to,
I need
don't
cause and
overtalk me.
effect.
You overtalk me one more time, I'm going to mute your
This
dumb
guy's a
ass.
clown. Seriously.
So we need the hypothesis because that's what you said. Based on observations that can be tested through experimentation. What are the 3 constituent parts of an experiment?
Nearly called you Nathan. QE. First of all, with the hypothesis, it's cause and effect.
Yeah, that's right.
What the cause
So it
and effect
can't be
is,
anything.
is what of course, I can say the cause of things falling down.
Really?
Green little people who are.
Study the
Sorry to
cause of
interrupt.
falling
Sorry
down.
to
What's the
interrupt
hypo-
at this stage. I'm really sorry, guys. Or just got to shout out a super chat from Julio Pabon. It says, "Holy smokes! For a second, I thought Channel Q became a flat earther." Thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Just for clarity and to get us back on track, I'm really sorry to have interrupted. So you're saying cause and effect. So a problem isn't an effect. An effect is something happening. But we've now established what a hypothesis is. So we need an effect. Yeah, that would be something happening in nature that you simultaneously tell us you don't need. So this is the end, again, of your argument. Another shout out to Rakia Life. I'll keep this simple. No curve. No earth rotation. God is light. Seek God, which is seeking truth. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat, Rakia Life.
So, show us.
Show us drift in nature, the effect for the hypothesis.
The hypothesis, please.
Shout out to Eagle
In
Plane
the
and Anchor, who
hypothesis,
says,
I don't need to show you
wrecked.
anything. In the hypothesis, I say what's causing this deviation.
What's the hypothesis?
And my hypothesis is, for example, let me do the little experiment where I let things fall down from a high altitude.
Things
then
fall down from high
hypothesis-
altitude is your That's not a
And then,
hypothesis.
No, that's not. I didn't say that's my hypothesis. I wanted to talk about this, like the deviation of falling ball.
I got a new
My
hypothesis. How
would be,
about try and get a new mic? Jeez.
Also, try to think about what the hell you're saying because you don't even make sense half the time you're speaking, bro.
My
been gone for a
hypothesis
few
would be
days and he
there's a
looked all this stuff
deviation
up.
of falling objects because of the different
Oh,
tangential speed and different altitudes.
say that one more time.
Stop. Deviation of falling
Tangential
objects.
speed.
Sorry. You just gave us a phenomena. Where's that observed in nature, please?
Vertical Coriolis.
Problem is observation.
Stop, we're
We
getting
are
somewhere.
already done with the observation.
Sorry, the observation of falling objects deviating. I've tried. I think it's now in excess of 70 times for you to give us a natural phenomena. You've just said that it's deviation of falling objects. Is that something that you can show me in nature, please?
Nathan, I have 4 sources which say that I can use a problem as observation, so please continue.
Yeah, and I was saying, as an observation, where do we observe this?
I don't care what you say.
So I ask a fundy who says, we've got a phenomena. The phenomena is that things drift. Yeah? Falling objects, earth turning underneath them. That's what he's just claimed. QE got him there in the end. Thank you so much, QE, for getting there. We got there. He said falling objects and deviation. So it's claimed by him Earth turns underneath a falling object to cause it to drift. Right. Yeah, that's what the globe claims. Now, all he's got to do is show us it actually happening in nature, and he can't. Right? Do you understand, audience? Nothing's drifting in nature. It's just a problem they create that would affect a flight time. Because if Earth was turning underneath this ball example that he's giving, then it would shorten flight times. Now he's actually claimed it, I can make the conclusion, which is if his claim, which is that Earth turns underneath the dropped ball to cause it to drift. Well, that would shorten a flight time because Earth would be turning underneath an aeroplane. And a flight from Charlotte, North Carolina, to Los Angeles would only take an hour and a half if Earth was turning underneath it like it turns underneath his claim that it turns underneath a dropped object. Reality doesn't turn underneath a plane, and he'll never direct me to anything drifting when dropped in nature. It's just a problem they've created because it's a problem for the globe Earth. Why? Because we don't see it happening. Nothing's drifting at 15 degrees an hour, as it absolutely must on a globe Earth that turns. Shout out to Godzilla 37 again. Rackier life knows it. Also, I don't know if it got through as there was a bit of rumblings. Eagle Plane Anchor says wrecked. Thank you very much indeed. Lots of super chats coming through. Really appreciate it.
Wouldn't deviation also occur on ascending objects as well if its descending objects are occurring? Wouldn't have it on both?
Anything leaving the non-inertial claim to be spinning Earth would be entering an inertial reference frame for you to be observing it drifting from the non-inertial spinning reference frame. That's Coriolis effect. You turning underneath things for them to seem to drift. In other words, it's irrelevant of whether it's ascending or descending or doing anything. It doesn't matter about the actual path of the projectile. Coriolis is you observing it seem to drift only because you are turning underneath it. So for Coriolis effect to be an effect on a turning Earth, you must be turning underneath things. And if we're turning underneath aeroplanes, their flight times are reduced and they're not. And when we ask the funder who claims it to show us that happening in nature, he demands we accept that we don't get shown it in nature, we just solve it as a bloody math problem.
I don't even understand why they can't break this down in their head. You know, I've explained too, as being a dancer in my past at 25, you were in an airport too, and you're standing on these little escalator things that are going past you. Go ahead, stand on one, jump up in the air. What happens? It goes underneath you. You're not going to land in that same spot if you put an excellent of that. It is moving underneath you. Where is this? It doesn't happen in nature. I've never, ever seen this happen. And as a dancer, that doesn't work either. But I've been told, no, you'll still land on that same spot. And I don't know what the hell is wrong with these people. What's going on in your mind? Or you just automatically believe in shit because you've been told it?
Indeed. Quick shout out to James Richard, who says, why would he claim that falling objects deviate as an observation when it is never observed? It does not happen. Why would he claim that? Well, because it does happen in the heliocentric model. It must happen to claim they've got proof of spin. They claim we've got Coriolis to prove we spin. It just doesn't happen in nature.
Well, here's something else, Tyson. Let me beg the question just for a small second. Small. The reason I talk about ascension is because if he's saying things deviate when you drop it, what about Felix Baumgartner?
Very good quote. Very good point, Paul. Well made. Sam, I think that's directed at you.
Go ahead.
We've got an example of an object falling. Felix Baumgartner. Earth didn't turn underneath him, Sam.
Well, no, he ascended too. Remember, he had to ascend up.
My first point is he's not attached to the Earth.
Yeah, he dropped out of a hot air balloon. Definitely not attached to Earth. Didn't drift, though.
Well, no, he ascended too. Remember, Nathan? He ascended.
Did you measure that there was no drift?
Yeah, he landed, what was it, within quarter of a kilometre away or something stupid? Very, very close to the spot he took off from. Earth definitely didn't turn underneath during the ascension or descension.
According to their model and the rate of rotation, he should have been in the Pacific Ocean.
Nah, he went with the
We-
lockstep
hold on.
explanation.
Yeah, that was part of the
First of all, you're misunderstanding what this, how big this deviation is. This deviation is not 50 degrees.
There was none. He didn't deviate at all.
That's all.
He didn't deviate. So we're misunderstanding the quantity of how much deviation he didn't experience when you're claiming he should experience it. He's a falling object. Cat got your tongue?
Nathan, you know exactly
Say
what
my
I'm
name.
anymore. You've shown me your cognitive.
Say it. Say my name. He's not drifting.
That's
right. Not that he's a natural phenomena either, but he definitely didn't drift. No? If he did drift, it would mean Earth was turning underneath him, and it would shorten flight times. So, in case you were unaware, you're screwed either way. If Earth turns underneath Felix Baumgartner, then it turns underneath an aeroplane, which is in the sky for a significantly longer period, has to ascend and descend. In case you want to violate the first law of thermodynamics to get around this, you won't. Nevertheless, Earth didn't turn underneath him. So Earth didn't turn underneath him. It's not an example that you can give as Earth turning underneath him because it didn't. So he's a dropped object, like you exampled. And likewise, you're going to tell me that you don't need to example this in nature. Yeah, because it doesn't happen. Earth's not turning underneath
He
anything.
was in free fall for over 4 minutes too.
Yeah, Earth didn't turn underneath anything. It never will. We'd notice
Well,
with
how
short
long-
flight times.
How long did it take? How long did it take for those balls to drop that he was dropping? How long?
Oh, it'd be seconds. Seconds, Paul. For them to get a quarter of an inch deflection, yeah, seconds. Of course, that's not a natural phenomena. And if Earth was turning underneath a dropped ball, as is claimed by this dude, then Earth would be turning underneath things that aren't in the non-inertial reference frame. That's why we would observe them seem to drift from the inertial...
First of all, not a quarter of an inch.
Sorry? Felix Baumgartner didn't drift
It was
because...
1/24th of an inch in a few seconds.
Sorry, Felix Baumgartner didn't drift because...
Did you measure that there was no drift? Do you have
Yeah,
any
he didn't
scientific evidence
drift.
for that?
He
No, you
didn't
have
end
not.
up in the ocean. He didn't end up in the ocean. He landed pretty much where he took off from. Sorry, Cat got your tongue again. Did you think the subject had changed? Went long pause for the second time. So he didn't drift because Earth didn't turn underneath him because still not a natural phenomena you can show us because I'll tell you, Cat got your tongue, because Earth isn't turning. Or we'd notice there'd be drift. The drift you're claiming but saying you don't need to show us? Yeah, it's not happening in nature. Nothing's drifting. That's why. Maybe tell us it's a problem you can solve in maths and then apply to Earth after you've solved the problem in maths and blamed it on Earth turn, even though we don't observe that effect.
Okay, Nathan, let's say he fell down 10,000 meters. Wait, how many kilometers are that? Can you get me a quick up?
Is he a robot?
Yeah, it's got the world's worst microphone.
World's worst arguments.
Yeah, your 1990s AOL connection's just not cutting it.
Nathan, my question was like,
Trying
if he
to
fell down
figure
10,000
out
meters,
how
how
he
many
thinks it's
kilometers
cool
would
that
he fell down?
his
Oh,
global
sorry.
claim that
Oh,
we're
my bad.
supposed to see
What
that
he's trying to
far.
do, Chocolate, he's trying to ask me, right, how much drift I should expect to see. Sorry, dude, do you not realise that that's your claim? Did you think that I should prove your claim for you? Are you asking me, oh my God, Simon Dan and the Coriolis virus have spread again. Do you think they're my reference frames and I need to tell you how much drift there should be? They're not. They're yours. Tell me my reference frames are ruined. Go on. Show the audience that you are as dumb as Simon Dan by now debunking the required frames of reference for Coriolis claims on a globe Earth. Tell me my reference frames are ruined like Simon Dan, as you've just asked me to prove your claim. How much drift would I expect? None. Earth's not turning.
Please do it.
Go on, tell me my reference frames are ruined. Tell me you wouldn't expect to see drift. Go on, do it. Chant at me like Simon Dan the moron. Shout out to Retro Bill. If Coriolis is about conservation of momentum, it isn't. Then is conservation of momentum about Coriolis? No, it isn't. They're different things. One's conservation of momentum. The other is Coriolis effect.
The main hint would be they're called different things.
Is this zebra a dog? No, the dog is a dog and the zebra's a zebra. Is the conservation of angular momentum Coriolis effect? No, the conservation of momentum is conservation of angular momentum. And Coriolis effect is Coriolis effect. They've got different titles and different descriptions. Because they're different. Isn't that obvious?
Not the ball.
Also,
Is,
there's
it's
an
not
issue.
obvious.
I said also there's an issue because when they say conservation of momentum, they got to be a little bit more specific. Is it conservation of linear momentum or conservation of angular momentum?
Yeah, he was a
Two
ball. He was
parts to that coin.
He was a flatty, just taking the piss. So, yeah, he's not going to define it as either because I think he's just taking the mickey out of globies who think that the Globiolis effect, which is this mergence of linear momentum described as the conservation of angular momentum when detailing what they title Coriolis effect. Well, that's been summarised beautifully by Brian's logic as the Globiolis effect. Nothing to do with Coriolis. Nothing to do with even the conservation of angular momentum either, surprisingly, as that's what they're saying it is. Conservation of angular momentum is Coriolis. Hear them chant. It's just nonsense. Quick shout out to James Richard again. I think one thing that would help is the Earth would have to rotate 19.9, roughly 20 miles every 60 seconds. That's a massive amount of area in 1 minute. It depends on your location when you describe it in those terms. But I know what you're getting. I get your sentiment. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat, James Richard. Really appreciate the support. There's been loads of support these last couple of days. My God, am I ever appreciative for it, given that I took out credit to buy this chair. Thank you very much for your support. Another super chat. Shout out to Retro Bill. Great clarification, QE. Why can't Fight the Flat Earth seem to get this? Because he's a ball believer. He was asking you, actually, QE, so you should really answer.
Why doesn't Flat Earth get something? Central lining fluoride? Most likely.
Why doesn't Fight the Flat Earth get it? Just because you said, why doesn't Flat Earth get it?
No, fight the fat girth. I heard what he said, and my answer is possibly central lining fluoride. My best guess.
Best
Seems
guess
line
is
up.
fluoride. There you go, Retro Bill. Hope you like the answer. Got two housekeeping questions today.
Maybe
Two.
that's why they brush it aside.
It's a great day when you only get two housekeeping questions done. I attempted to get a third in. Didn't happen.
You missed 10th's pun. That's why they brush it aside.
So sorry, 10th.
I wonder why my ascension question just silenced him completely. I wonder why. Can
Why'd you have to make
explain that to me, please?
everything biblical? That was a joke.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of the
Yeah,
Bible, is
too
Paula
biblical,
going
I
to answer
guess.
my question?
Is Paula still around? She sent him. Yeah, go ahead. Ask the question again.
No, I'm a flat, so but I'm not around.
She's not around to answer. Maybe we'll get an answer in the after show. Damn shame. It was a good question.
Hey, what's up, Paula? How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How about you?
You may not be around, but you do have a sphere of influence.
Boom, boom.
Well, it was an intense show today, eh? As there's a few minutes to round out, might as well summarise this live show because it's been pretty epic. Thanks to Sam. Really appreciate you coming and being a fundie, Sam, even though you're on server mute. Hopefully you'll hear this after the fact. We need the fundies to come and express their cognitive dissonance, tell us that we can't see the effect they claim happens on a globe Earth in reality. We need all that, and I do appreciate it.
See, I told you he was going to leave for a while, find some stuff, and then come back like he has ammunition. But he was just shooting blanks.
kudos to you. You did totally call that. I will give you that. You did indeed, literally only a couple of days ago, completely call that in one of the pre-shows. So yes, I agree. You did totally called that, Neil. That's 2 or 3 days have been epic. I mean, I should be giving Rumpus thanks, really. Nathan, you missed my previous super chat. No harm. Oh, my bad. Did I? Oh, I did. Did I? Why would he claim that falling objects deviate as an observation when it's never observed? It does not happen. Why would he claim that? I'm sure I didn't miss your super chat, James Richard. Maybe I did. No harm. Okay. Thank you very much for giving me $2 to tell me that I've missed a super chat. That I thought I read all of them. I'm really sorry if I have missed one of these super chats, or anybody else for that matter. I've trimmed out a load of the Rumpus clips. I intended to just trim out the bit where I teabagged him, because in a shortened video, about 26, 27 minutes long, that comes out tonight on this channel, Nathan Oakley 1980 at 8:30 p.m, preceding the full uncut and after show on my second channel at 9 p.m, because it's only half an hour long. That I thought, oh, that's quite funny, where I trimmed out someone else's little video clip of them teabagging someone in a video game, because it gives it context, because I say it quite frequently. It's because I watch a load of speedrunning videos and, I don't know, I've just picked up their lingo. Anyway, I trimmed that out as like a 20-second clip, thinking I'll just send that to the people in the Skype groups, because it's funny. But then after doing it, I was like, why don't I just publish it? If I find it funny and I'm just going to share it with the groups, why not stick it out as a 20-second clip for everybody to enjoy? And I got distracted because someone bought the old chair that I was sitting in prior to this one on eBay. So I got distracted by that. And by the time I come back, it had several hundred views. I was like, wow, people really like a 20-second clip that's got teabagging in the title. So check it out. Rumpus Gets Teabagged is obviously a Flatty's favourite. If it's only 20 seconds long, you can be damn sure people will give up 20 seconds of their time to see that.
We got Mr. Planes is flying backwards, and we got Mr. Planes is flying backwards in the chat saying there's more than one scientific method per Percy Brigman. So it's time for you to show. He said, well, that's what he said. Well, you posted it. Now it becomes yours. Now you got to support that numpty dipshit, right? So get in VC in the after show, Mr. Planes is flying backwards daily T, and show us, just show us one extra scientific method, then walk us through a practical demonstration. Okay? Clown, get in there.
With that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's live show possible. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, however, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. As I say, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you. Smash the super chat, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Also, linked below this video, there is a link to get £50 back for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on either premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!